tonight we are so excited, as Mynoo said when we were just on a line just a couple moments ago, this is one of the best. So the nice thing about mission is Mynoo is going to reveal these 7 openings, as she calls them, to activate your mission and to put you at the helm of mission control. And we all like to know that we are actually driving the bus, so to speak. So Mynoo will give us tools and ways in which we can walk through those openings to make sure we are at the helm. Very excited tonight. Welcome to everyone. I'm going to go ahead and let our other guests in. So we love that we're streaming live on Facebook, and we are also on Zoom, which is exciting. So welcome to everyone. And this is, again, our 36th Pearl of Wisdom, which is mission. And you know, Mynoo will come on in just a couple moments and we'll talk about that. Welcome, Renelle. Welcome, Glenda. Good to see you, Christian. Really nice to see everyone. We've got a lot of early people tonight, which is wonderful. So super excited to chat with you and say hello and welcome to everyone. So glad you're here, because this one's going to be, as I call it, the doozy. So this is our 36th Pearl of Wisdom, which is mission. And there are 7 openings to activate your mission and to put you at the helm of what Mynoo calls mission control. So we're going to explore that with Mynoo tonight. Very excited. And I'm excited because I would love for Mynoo to give us a little bit of like pre-wisdom on this, which is, you know, during COVID times, we all became much more introspective. A lot of nesting happening, thinking about what our purpose is. And so there's this sometimes question about, well, where does purpose start and mission end, or mission start and purpose end? So I would love it, Mynoo, if, and thank you so much for bringing this 36th Pearl of Wisdom to light. I'd love to at some point just start off by you giving us a little bit of feedback on maybe the difference between mission and purpose and how this will all play in. And welcome everyone. Excited to see you all tonight.
Thank you, Catherine. So yes, we can begin the whole Pearl of Wisdom by answering that question. So everybody can really be stationed in the mission as opposed to the purpose. So let's begin with that. So I'm just going to, Catherine, just remove the spotlight on you and get focused on answering this question, and then we'll go into the 7 openings.
Yes, and I'm really excited, Mynoo. Thank you so much for bringing this to light. I think you're all set. I think everyone is seeing that you are good to go. Let's just make sure we're good. And I'll handle the back end and continue to let people in where you take us into this 36th Pearl of Wisdom, which is mission.
Great, thank you. Okay, so answering Catherine's question right to get going with this particular Pearl of Wisdom, the difference between purpose and mission. So I've shared this in previous sessions, and I'm going to share it again, which is, when it comes to life, there is only one purpose to life. So first of all, before we go into what the purpose is, it's important to understand what life itself is. Life is a state in which an organism is breathing. And it's as a state, that state can change, you know, literally blink of an eye or a click of a finger. And when that state changes, you know, the organism stops breathing. It's death, which also is a state where the organism has stopped breathing. The only purpose to life is to come alive. There is only one purpose, which is to come alive. And there are different ways in which, you know, different of all of us, or each of us, finds ways in which we feel we come alive. Mission is one of the ways, and it could be the context that we utilize to choose how we come alive. So my mission, you know, given that I have life, I'm breathing, my purpose is to come alive. My mission is that humans and humanity expect and accept miracles as their norm. And a miracle is where something beautiful occurs that makes your heart sing, which is an indication that I'm alive. So given that my heart is beating, it is the song of the heart, a miracle is right here. And so my mission is that if I can experience that and land into a space of knowing that, there is something that is making my heart sing, and I can see what is there right there in front of me without having to wait for something one day into the future. If every person on the planet knew that, and they could see what's making their heart sing right there in front of them, they will be stationed in a space which feels wholesome, which feels abundant, and they will come alive. Mission accomplished, purpose of life realized. Again, just look at the words, mission accomplished, purpose of life realized. So that's the context in which I'm talking about mission. Because purpose is come alive. So now let's look at the 7 openings that put you at the helm of mission control. The first opening is very exciting. I'm usually excited by the time I get to the 7th. I'm excited right at the first one. And the first one is miracles abound. No, miracles are ground. Miracles are ground. Miracles manifest. Miracles abound. That's the first opening. And it literally matches the question that you asked. The purpose of life is to come alive, where, life being a state in which an organism is breathing, which means the heart is beating, which means there is a miracle here, right now. Miracles are ground. Miracles by itself is not thought about in a grounded way. Often, it's seen as something out there, which is miraculous. The creators created all these creations around us, miraculous. Or there's someone out there who does has these amazing powers, miraculous. I'm saying the first opening is for you to get that miracles are right there on the ground with you, within you. And all it calls for is a matter of acknowledging, because you're seeing them anyway. You sometimes take it all for granted. The fact that we are here having this discussion, the fact that you can hear it, the fact that I can speak it, then the fact that we have this technology that enables us to come here every Thursday evening, every Friday morning, is making my heart sing. All of that is grounding this concept of miracles in my reality, in your reality. What else is there for you? Ground it, ground it, ground it. Even being able to, the interesting thing about the crown phenomenon is that it literally did surface a whole medley of emotions, even for those who had their emotions shut out. So even experiencing those emotions literally connects you to the reality of what's going on for you. And the more connected and plugged in you are, the more you are able to feel what is making your heart sing, the more you develop and sharpen your edge of grounding miracles, and miracles are ground. And it calls for miracles aground before you become an ongoing machine of manifesting miracles. If you only look way there out there for miracles, you never really acknowledge that you already have it. What you acknowledge is there is a distance between me and miracles out there, or somebody else's power in the context of miracles. That's what you're acknowledging. Miracles are not grounded. And therefore, the manifestation calls for some serious work. I'm saying the first opening is miracles are ground, miracles manifest, and then miracles abound. So in the first opening itself, even though I'm not using the word purpose, being engaged in the purpose of life creates this opening for you to engage with what is my mission? Right, I have life. I am breathing. I choose to come alive. What is the purpose? Let's begin with miracles. Just with this opening alone, a landing takes place, and a landing of understanding that life is actually meant to be easy. Because when you start looking at what is making my heart sing, miracles aground, what's there right here in front of me, you realize there is so much there. There's so much there already. You experience the abundance that already is there with you. You also start putting everything in perspective. No one thing in your life has greater meaning than anything else. The fact that it exists and it is making your heart sing, it's equally important. And it's no more important than you, because you're the one who realizes its importance. Without you, it would just be something that occurs and goes away. Everything about what I talk about is all about dignity, honoring of your worthiness, which is one of the three things that you're born with. The first opening, miracles are ground them. What's making your heart sing right here, right now? From the texture of your skin to the color of this amazing blingy thing that I'm seeing from my kaftan on the screen, to all of us here, to me feeling so wide awake and alive at 4:30 in the morning, to the news that Catherine just shared about her deep desire of going into space being realized. All that jumping on the trampolines, Catherine. I mean, look, we are engaged in miracles aground right here, right now, which is what you did, Catherine, in Hawaii, when you had that stretch of time there. And truly, it was you were manifesting miracles. You went through that journey, just like I talk about. There is a journey from data to knowing. Data converts to information, converts to knowledge, converts to wisdom, converts to knowing. There is a pathway, and it's a 3-step pathway for miracles abound, which is miracles aground, miracles manifest, and miracles abound. So miracles aground requires conscious attention. When you engage your consciousness, remember, in my world, you take your mind along. Initially, mine was a corporate, hard, like literally Fort Knox trained corporate mindset. Everything had to make logical sense or have scientific proof. Right? Well, it felt quite harmless Right, what's making my heart sing? I guess my heart is beating. Okay, that's the way it sings. It would be weird if sound started coming out from my heart and my mouth. So, okay, logical sense, yeah. Do I need proof of it? It is beating. There's no need to get fixated about scientific proof around that. Okay, can I have a look at, well, what's making my heart beat? I didn't think about sing at the time. What's making my heart beat? And it's beating in a nice rhythm. I started noticing stuff. And it's not difficult to notice. And I started feeling pretty good, you know? And then it was like, and then it was magical stuff started to happen. I happened to be in Bali at the time. I had not made the decision to settle there, but I happened to be in Bali. And I remember, and I was in Bali Buddha with my son and someone who I used to run a women's network in London with my friend Gina, and someone who was a very active member of that. I just see her walking past, and I was talking about her to my son just a moment ago, saying, I wonder if she's actually going to move to Spain or go somewhere else. And suddenly she's walking past. I thought, wow, this is crazy. So I called out her name, not expecting that it was her. I thought there was something else going on. But I was engaged in miracles, miracles of grounding. And she turned around, and then it was like such a wonderful reunion. And she actually chose to move to Bali in the end. But it was like, what happened there? Miracles. I was grounding miracles. And then I started manifesting them. And the one thing that the logical mind does is it connects the dots naturally, and so does yours. Wasn't unusual about my mind. Everybody's mind does that, and it connects the dots with the intention of knowing that it has got its handle on survival, because that's the role of the mind. But that's great. It connected the dots, and then I thought, wow, what else can I manifest? And it became a game. And it was like everything else is history. And if I could do it for myself, so can you. So can anyone. Doesn't even require people to understand English or have any particular education. This first opening of mission is that. So always I say, take stock. Grounding, the miracles are grounding. An important aspect of that is you taking stock of what is making your heart sing. What if you just did that once a day for the next 7 days? Choose a time, and that time you can sit up for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 minutes, or longer, and look at what's making my heart sing. It's beating. You start going into miracles aground. And really, everything else just flows from there. I didn't even need to do anything to manifest miracles. And experiencing that bountifulness of miracles also was just a multiplier applied. All I had to do was get real, which you can. I wasn't asking me to think positive about something, which used to really intensely irritate me, even though I was one of this eternal optimist. If somebody said to me, well, I think positively about this, I said, well, you don't know what I'm experiencing, back off. But I could do this. I could say, okay, what is making my heart sing? It's beating, yes. All of these openings call you to bring your mind along, engaged, active, acknowledging its worthiness. And everything else flows. You miracles aground. The moment you engage with that, miracles manifesting begins. And when miracle manifesting begins, you ground them even more. That's all you have to do. You automatically start manifesting miracles. barbecue on the beach, the trampoline exactly in the beach, the wonderful hammock right there. You know, it made you a rainbow hunter. You started seeing life in a full spectrum way, Catherine. And so did many of us, during the lockdowns and shutouts of 2020. There were rainbows everywhere. The world came into a halt so that we could pause and stand and stare and see the white, fluffy Simpson clouds in Mumbai, in the pink skies in Delhi. The olive turtles fill up the beaches, the extinct species fill up the beaches in Orissa, and so on. And literally all it took was us starting to ground those miracles. It's a wonderful opening, literally. I'm just feeling that, like I talk about, something becomes a pearl of wisdom, a word becomes a pearl of wisdom. If you only engage in this, it actually creates a life that works for everyone. It creates the world that works for everyone. I'm finding, as I'm engaging with these pearls of wisdom, each of the 7 ways is so whole and complete in itself. If you only ever did that, you'll be on mission. And you will realize what your unique flavor is of that mission, but you will absolutely be on purpose, coming alive. Let's look at the second opening. The second opening is ingenious and innovative. And it literally is the geniusness of your creativity that opens up. It gets you to recognize, and I'm saying clever in not a negative way, but in a more, appreciative way. It gets you to recognize that you are so clever. You possess the genius that can bring things together exactly in the way that serves you to create your world. Ingenious innovator. It opens you up as this ingenious innovator. You can innovate anytime because you're not waiting for some innovation out there to come up to make your life easy. And we do, we do. Especially when you become a mother. And then it continues from there. But when you become a mother, you have to innovate. And I very rarely use terms like have to and need to, but it happens. And here's the thing about the mother part. There is a mother that births another human on the planet. And there is a mother in you that births you. Every day is a new dawn. It's a new day. And it can be a new way. It's up to you. You have that genius quality to create and innovate. You birth yourself every single day. And what are you birthing? You're birthing your ways of coming alive. You're birthing your world that day, your experiences of your world that day. You can choose to carry whatever has occurred in the past into your day today, or you can choose to trust that whatever you have experienced up to this point in time is there and is available and is accessible to you. And you can pick and choose what it is that you choose to take forward. You birth yourself. You are the creator of your world. And this opening of you as the ingenious innovator, as opposed to someone out there doing it for you, is an opening that becomes available to you when you are on mission. You may or may not have the words like I have. Well, it took me more than 50 years actually to arrive at those words, and it doesn't have to take that long. And it doesn't matter if you don't have them. If you just are on purpose, coming alive, how do you know you're coming alive? Do the yummy yucky test, feel that you're in flow. You're coming alive. Start noticing when you feel that complete exuberance and you are in flow in that exuberance. Keep putting that into your treasure trove of purpose of life. That's your purpose of life treasure chest. You keep coming alive. And you can allow yourself to engage with these openings. And as you work through these openings, the words that define your mission will become available to you. Don't rush. There is no rush. And once you engage with the first opening, miracles are ground and miracles manifest and miracles abound, you wouldn't even want to rush. And again, don't get stuck either, because that stickiness won't feel that yummy. And even miracles abounding, miracles grounding will not feel that yummy. Flow is what's needed. And to get flow, you are to actually apply the ingenious innovator that you are. It is that opening that gets you to understand that you are the creator. And it feels like, wow, how can we say that? We have such a reverence towards the creator. Yes. And you are the creator of your world. The reverence you have for the creator, have that for you. Because you are the one that creates your world. And the mind is so active. Ignoring your mind, really, it's at your peril. And we've all experienced it. Let's put that away to one side. Never put it away to one side. It goes deep down, causing all sorts of physical conditions. Bring your mind along, and you have ways of creatively expressing this ingenious innovator that you are. The third opening. The third opening, again, I do not edit words when they come through. The third opening is that I got as labels was superfluous and superlative. So the opening that gets created here allows you to literally purge that which is superfluous and doesn't serve. And it's in the context of mission. See, in most pearls, it doesn't matter. You can take pathway number 7 before you take pathway number 1. Here, going through it in this sequence really does build on the previous one. So you've now become a miracle manifester. And your miracles are abounding. You've got that habit of grounding miracles every time. You've owned up your ingenious innovator self. With both of those now properly anchored and stationed within you, you give yourself permission to release that which is superfluous. Because it's a superfluousness that makes it difficult for us to understand what is really our mission. Because we remain attached to many things, people, places, objects. What if you weren't? It's difficult to get to that level of trust, to allow the superfluousness to just go away. But that's what happens with this opening. Come to it after you've engaged with the first two. And what happens the moment that superfluous goes away, you literally land on your feet in this superlative expression of being on mission. And your mission starts to clarify. The crown phenomenon time was the time for us, each one of us individually, to really get, the fact that we were here at this time, the fact, and it isn't even once in a lifetime. It's like once in the lifetime of the planet that occurred. Because it wasn't just humans that we were affected, but it also impacted nature, because it was able to reclaim itself and show us that it can. It really put us in our place as humans, both in realizing what we can cause, how powerful we are, but also that we are one of the living things that make up this planet, and not the only one, not the most powerful one either. We are one, and we play our role, and it's an important one. And so do the clouds, and so do the animals, and so do the trees, so do colors. So this particular opening is an opening for you to release that which is superfluous, and you see yourself really becoming more and more and more aware, clear, connecting the dots. And you'll experience that superlative way in which you will express the realization of the understanding of your mission. I literally was a superlative experience for me to get that my mission is for humans and humanity to really get expecting and accepting miracles as their norm. It provided the context for everything. It created a container that held me and enabled me to look at everything that I was engaged in up to that point in time and discern from that which I shall continue with, and that I would release as superfluous. And what I landed up doing really was that pride and attachment to all of my degrees and accomplishments, as well as, the major collapses that I experienced and superlative rises I experienced in business. All of that was a part of, me feeling it. It made me relatable. It made me more somehow more endearing or more credible. It was all superfluous, actually. I just had to show up in the moment, being true to what I was experiencing and feeling in the moment, knowing that if I experience my magnificence, if this resides in me, it resides in everyone. And I can just show up. I became curious. I became present to the wonderment of every person that I was relating to. So the third opening is an opening that allows you to release that which is superfluous, so that you can experience the superlative experience of being on mission, realizing what it is, and using that, creating that as your context, as you co-create coming alive, fulfilling the purpose of your life. the fourth opening. The fourth opening is sensitive. We sometimes get so sensitized with stuff that we don't want to go over again. Or we are super sensitive. So we could find ourselves being an upset waiting to happen. But this opening really calls you, and it's an opening for you to honor your sensitivities. It also is an opening for you to see your senses as your comrades that will support you to stay on track when you understand your mission and you move forward in implementing that. So the way to work with the sensitive aspect is to really look at your different senses. That's how I sharpened this particular aspect and really enjoyed the juiciness of what this opening makes available. So what are my eyes seeing? Just stock take, factual, facts. And once you've actually engaged factually with what are my eyes seeing, and remember, I always work in the full spectrum way. So what are my eyes seeing physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and environmentally? What are my ears hearing? What am I in touch with? What tastes good? What tastes bad? What tastes I want to experience again? What tastes, are like tempt me into gluttony? What tastes I completely avoid? How sensitive is my nose? What am I smelling here? I started actually, I live in Dubai and I live in downtown, and there's a big mall called the Dubai Mall. It's a huge one. I don't know how many football fields equivalent is this mall. But there's one particular section called the Fashion Avenue. And in that Fashion Avenue, you have all the designer stores, but there's a particular floor, which is the perfume floor. And I thought I was very sensitive to artificial perfumes. Again, we tell these stories about ourselves and then we actually become sensitive and it does become really uncomfortable. Now, this perfume floor has all sorts of perfumes. And doing this exercise of really getting to know my senses, I actually got detached from the chemicals that were bringing these perfumes together. That is what used to be overwhelming to my, smelling senses, if you like. But actually, I started noticing the nuances. And it was quite special, that realization that, this one has this. And then it became like a wonderful game where I would go. I mean, you don't have to buy anything, because they're so keen for you to experience these different perfumes. I don't even like to put them on my body, but they put it on a strip. And I was able to, just like wine tasting, it was great to discover, this has this and this has this. Now here in this perfume floor, the salespeople who are the shop assistants are actually very knowledgeable about what's in the perfumes. And I think one or two of these stores decided to have them be very knowledgeable. So as a result, everybody's become very knowledgeable. So there I am discovering, and they're like getting excited. I'm getting excited. And that came from this. And I didn't even have a headache afterwards. It was fun. I started doing that with food. And I'm like developing quite a nice repertoire of vegetarian, ketogenic meals, applying this particular sense. What's in this? We are given this. Can you imagine? We have them. Now, once you've just done the lay of the land, you can then go back to that and say, what are my eyes actually? What am I actually being shown here? With all of this that my ears are getting me to hear, what am I meant to listen for? And you see, all that data is now becoming information. And then when you go into, okay, if that's what I'm to be listening for, what am I to do with it? Information starts to become knowledge. Aha, so let's have a go. Let's do it. And distilling from the experience of taking action, it becomes wisdom. And if that wisdom is something that brings you alive, you can then practice it even more until it lands as a knowing. It's a very powerful opening, sensitive. And you realize it's actually pretty cool to be sensitive. And remember, when I did the whole sensory organs thing, that was great. And then I went into, okay, what am I sensing here? Okay, see it. All of these are factual stuff. But what am I actually sensing? For me, in this whole perfume floor experience, I realized what I was sensing was that I'd created this story about being allergic to perfumes. And it became such a hard fact that there was no opening for anything else. Well, I can choose not to put any perfume on my body. But there's no reason for me not to enjoy it. And maybe there was a time when, I smelt it and it gave me a headache, or somebody had too much of it, or I put too much of it. Well, I don't have to put myself in that situation again. And if I hold true that I get a headache from this, I will get a headache, because that is the truth. My mind says, we've got to prove this to her. She's right. But there is no right, there is no wrong. There is what there is. And I have a very dear friend who lives in Manhattan. Now, actually, she's moved to Southampton. So she happened to be visiting. And she is larger than life and totally loves luxury. And she's totally into perfumes in a very big way. Dubai Bling was the thing for her. And because I'd started playing this game with what's in this, so she and I would do it together, this larger than life American with exuberance and this very centered, thoughtful Indian. It was great fun. And you can do this anywhere. Have a go with doing this with food. It's sensuous even. Not only is it sensitive, the sensitiveness creates that sensuous experience too. And it becomes such a really beautiful experience of landing in the rhythm of you. Isn't it amazing? And then you go to the fifth opening. I always lose track of time. Here we are, fifth opening. The fifth opening that becomes available to us. All we are doing here is we're saying, right, I'm going to find my mission. I've chosen to live the purpose of my life and come alive. Now I'm ready to find my mission and have that be the context of my life. And these openings start to happen. And you work with them. You work with them. Now you're coming to the fifth one. The fifth one is iconic. And so what mission makes available to you is it makes you an iconic an icon. It makes you an iconic brand, should you choose to look at it that way. But you become, it is iconic. Me, in my mission, I'm iconic. My mission itself is iconic. And that's true of you also. And it becomes one wonderful mutual appreciation society of the icons. And in doing so, we do that with each other, with ourselves, relating to ourselves as icons, bringing forth this iconic mission, and recognize that in others too. It becomes this amazing mutual admiration society. Talk about inclusiveness. Happens naturally. And if you look at, now, how do you get access to this? How does this land in your reality? It seems like, okay, interesting. Mind isn't with you yet. How do you bring your mind along? Mind only comes along when it sees it for real. Because remember, mind's about survival. It's very factual. It's very, black and white in that way. Doesn't really like the gray zone. How do you get this iconic part to land where you are the icon and your mission is iconic? Mind engages with what's there, real. If you look back at your life, this is where I do a stock take of my life. Key moments in my life, key behaviors, key moments you'll find, moments that actually made a difference to another's life. You will find there's a pattern. And those of you who've done my work on source mastery, that was our access point, your moments of inspiration. There was some way in which you operated. So you already are an icon of your mastery that puts you at the source of your life. You're an iconic master in your source mastery. Even if you don't know your source mastery, you certainly can access those moments, those key milestone moments. And find what was iconic about the choices that you had made at the time. And I'm just looking down because my wonderful, remarkable, how much I love it so much. That's where I have my notes written about what I'm going to talk about. And it has just run out of battery. But last night, I had the intuition to actually send it as an email to me, which I'm going to find right now. I never email my remarkable stuff to me before a session like this. And last night it was like, email before you go to bed. And this is why. So here we are. Have fun with this, really look at those moments in your life and see the pattern. And it is a pattern of you as the icon, bringing forth, implementing an iconic mission. When you look at those moments of inspiration and you find what you were up to, you even go into, why did I even do that? Why did I make that choice, not this one? It starts to give you an inkling of why, and as you start connecting the dots, your mission will start to clarify for you. Every mission is an iconic one. And everyone's mission, everyone having an understanding of their mission, the 7.4 billion people and growing, all of us understanding our mission and operating from there, operating from that as a context, literally removes all conflict. Everything becomes an interesting observation for you to apply your ingenious innovation to. So this iconic opening is an important one for you to go into and work with. The sixth opening, we'll probably have 5 minutes for questions. So if any of you have any questions, just put them in the chat, or any burning desire for clarification or anything that you wish me to address more deeply, put it in the chat, and Catherine, you can keep track of it and we'll bring it up. The sixth one is origin and original. Origin and original. I mean, I thought, oh, well, it's the same thing. Well, no, they're different actually in the context of an opening for mission. And now we're getting into mission realized, opening for your mission to be realized. The origin part, for me, how that showed up when I went into this opening was I understood that everything has an origin. And when it originates, there is an originating intent. And we lose track of what that is by compromising. And it's a series of compromises that, gets us to lose the connection to why we originated something in the first place, what the originating intent was, and suddenly something that we kept doing, we have no idea why that was being done. And we start looking for what else can we do that is very original. And we start looking for external stimuli to stimulate us. But if you actually remain connected to the originating intent of those aspects of your life, of your business, of your career, of your choices, the originating intent keeps getting realized. And that is what is regenerative. And it gives you the freedom to choose something else to engage in. And you really land in a realm where your thriving instinct is what's driving you, as opposed to your survival instinct. You stop only surviving. And the quest for the original, you realized you are the original one. You're not a photocopy of anything. You can emulate as a matter of choice, and your emulation will be original in itself. It won't become that which you're emulating. Because you too have an originating intent, which is what I call as your innate vibe. And as a human, our originating intent is to share our innate vibe, which is love, which is an amplifying frequency. So remaining plugged into the origin of things. I mean, this was very interesting as I was working with the body of work that I've called the 10 Commandments for the New World. And I was intuitively receiving what these commandments were. And I engaged with this opening in the context of my mission of humans and humanity, experiencing, expecting, and accepting miracles as their norm. What I saw was that, yes, one of the commandments of the New World is collaborative co-creation of coexistence. That is the origin of this planet. There was no money, there wasn't anything. There was this planet with its gases and water and dust and all of that, and a few life forms. It was regenerative. Otherwise, we would only have one life form. And each one that got birthed had the thriving instinct quite naturally. Collaborative co-creation of coexistence was what it was. We brought in humans with their own regenerativeness, brought in command and control through gold, which then became money. And what's happening now is an opportunity for us to collaboratively co-create coexistence with or without money. And that presence is money for what it is. In this new world, it is a gift given into the hands of humans. Nothing else, no other living thing on this planet requires it. Wouldn't even know what to do with it. You give money to your dog, it wouldn't know what to do with it. You go give money to a tree and it won't know what to do with it. It's given into our hands as humans to make this planet a place of pure love and joy. That comes from relating back to the origin. And now you can get really original in how you make this planet a place of pure love and joy. And voila, all the ceilings and limitations around money disappear. And it can flow to you and flow through you. Just that reconnection to the origin of where it all began. So you can imagine there are choices, there are habits that we all have. There are phrases, there are words that we use. If you just recognize the origin of where it originated from, you can either let go of that belief or you can reinforce that and now get original through your ingenious, innovative self. It's pretty cool, going into this opening. It's literally like, for me, it was engaging with this was like going into this wonderful cave of wonders, each of these openings. And the seventh opening it's nuanced. What happens with each of these that we've gone through? Miracles aground, miracles manifest, miracles abound. Ingenious innovator. Superfluous and superlative, sensitive, iconic, origin and original. All of these, by the time you get to this seventh one, you're ready to really pick up on the nuances and choose to act coming from that space. Choose to understand what aspect of what I normally do really plugs into my mission. And you start shedding clutter by itself. When you start shedding clutter, confusion disappears. And you start creating clearings in which you innovate and create and co-create. And you literally start identifying that 2% that is yours to do that can create 90% or 98% of the impact. Bringing that whole and completeness to the aliveness with which you live your life. There is so much more to nuance. It isn't a pearl of wisdom, but at some point I think I'll make it a nugget of wisdom and talk about it. With that, I hand over to you, Catherine, to see if there are any questions that people want addressing. I haven't been keeping track of the chat.
Well, we're in good shape. We have 2 minutes, so if there is anyone that has a question, please let us know. I find it very interesting tonight. I disappeared for like 2 minutes, Mynoo, and then your iPad disappeared for like a minute. And I'm wondering, like, what was that moment that I missed? I was down for maybe 2 minutes, but every minute really does count with this wisdom that you're bringing forth. So I just want to say so many dots are being connected as, I deepen my understanding at how to work with mission from this unique vantage point of these 7 openings. And I was like, wait, I'm missing an opening. It can't be. So I'll go back on Facebook Live and watch it again. But yeah, very interesting to know which one of those I missed. I parted for a second. So if there are any questions, please go ahead and pop those in. We have just 1 minute left. So if not, I would love for everyone to share a thought, a word, a comment, so that we could share those with Mynoo. because I'm sure you had many ahas tonight as well. Again, like these 7 openings are, it's 7 weeks worth of work. So we might as well break it down and, and get to it.
Yeah.
So I don't see anything in my end as far as questions. Mynoo, I just want to make sure when I came back in. But Justin says, agree, Catherine, lots of dots connected, juicy and complete. Yes, and Justin, so good to have you with us tonight. It's really fun every night to see who's going to show up and the energy that we bring forth. So thank you all for coming every night. And this one was, again, a doozy. They keep getting deeper and better and richer and juicier and more yummy, Mynoo.
One thing that I want to say here before we completely complete is just even knowing that you don't have to go around on a quest to find your purpose. Just knowing that the purpose is to come alive because you have life. That's like one big certainty you can work with. Now that you know what your purpose is, you can actually find your mission. Half the time we are saying, oh, what is our purpose? What is our purpose? We don't find our mission. So purpose is come alive. That's it. Now go find your mission.
So perfect. Thank you for that huge reminder, because we get so wrapped up in it and we forget it's just to come alive. So I want to read these closing words and comments. Dea, iconic origin, love it. So fabulous. Beautiful. Namaste. Yes, indeed. Spending as much time each day working on my mission and loving it, from Helene. Love that. And Mynoo, please address source mastery versus mission. So that's coming from Connie. I don't know if we have a minute that you can share that as our last closing, but I want to offer 2 more closing comments before we do that. Ingenious, creator, and gratitude, coming from Sarah. And lastly, Karen, she missed the title of this pearl, which is mission, Karen. So yes, this 36th pearl of wisdom is mission. So Mynoo, let's turn it back over to you, and maybe you can answer this one last question before we sign off.
Yes, so I'm going to answer it, given that we have only a few seconds to do it. I'm going to answer it by just sharing with you that source mastery is a unique ability that each one of us is born with. And we are born with that ability in the context of relationships that we can bring forth. So, and you can apply that mastery to implement your mission. So for me, my source mastery is that I love leaving people truly, madly, deeply in love with themselves. I'm born with that unique mastery. I'm able to do that even if I don't say a thing. And now I understand it, and I show up in that way. That puts me at the source of my life. I can now apply that to my mission of humans and humanity, knowing that expecting and accepting miracles are their norm. Very distinct, very different. With that, we declare our session complete. Thank you all. Thank you. High 10, yes.